All right, let's get started. Let me start by thanking you all so much for your time and for joining me. I know that you are all very busy, and to carve out an hour with me, you don't even realize. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you find this valuable and you can start utilizing some of the tools I'm going to show you immediately. And, oh, I'm sorry, I have one person that says they can't hear me. We have your passcode, let's see, if you can bear with me just one second, I'm going to respond to this person. Okay, so let's get started. We're looking at marketing your program with social media. And I want to just quickly go over why I feel that I'm qualified to host this webinar. A quick overview about who I am. I am the marketing manager for Horizon. And I call myself a marketing nerd, jokingly, of course. So I love all things marketing. So I listen to marketing podcasts. I mentor marketing students at the local university. I go to marketing conferences. So you can trust that the content that I'm going to share with you is the most recent and the most effective ways to reach your audience, because I'm constantly staying on top of marketing trends. And secondly, I absolutely love marketing to the child nutrition industry. It is it's just a joy. I say that I'm passionate about marketing, but I'm blessed to market to child nutrition. So I've been marketing to child nutrition almost 7 years now, and so I appreciate everything you do, and I try to understand it as best I can so that I can properly serve your industry, and I just appreciate everything you do. Like I said, there are 2 handouts for you in your GoToWebinar little box there where you logged in. It's 2 handouts, and one of them is marketing your program for marketing your meal program. Let's do a very quick poll if you don't mind. I'm curious to know who is currently using social media to market their program. If you're using Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or none at all. Okay, all right, we've got over half that have voted, so let's close this, and I'm going to share the results with you. So we have 79% aren't using any social media at all. That's absolutely, of course, I'm so happy that you're here. Facebook, that's great. You've got a great foundation, and then we'll build on that. So thank you for indulging me there. Okay, so this checklist ebook that I mentioned, it will go through each Facebook platform and tell you what you should include on that social media platform. All right. Okay, so this is what we're going to go over today. We'll briefly go over why marketing is important. You're aware of why it's important, otherwise you wouldn't have registered for the webinar. But the meat of our webinar is we're going to look at linking all of your social media accounts. And why that's important is it's going to save you time. We're going to show you how to schedule social media posts. So you can schedule a post to publish on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at a later date. That's also a time-saving tool there. And then Canva, I'll show you a demo of Canva. Is a graphic design program that's free. And what I'll do is I'll show you a demo of it. We'll wrap up the webinar, and then anybody that can stay the full hour or stay a few minutes late can see another image that I'll create, depending on our time. And then I have some winners. Unfortunately, I don't have the logo for the department isn't the prize today. I have a consultation session with me, and I have a cookbook that I picked up at LAC in Washington, D.C. that's a freebie for us today. So, but with that tool Canva, you're going to learn how you can make a logo for your department. So don't fret there. Okay, quickly go over why you need to market your program. Obviously, the broad stroke of it is it's changing your customer perceptions, changing parents, students, and even legislators, as we saw at LAC, changing their perceptions of the lunchroom. People think of a stereotypical lunch lady, and we just know that's not the case. this picture in the middle of a typical lunch served in the U.S., that's an article from the Huffington Post, and it's, as you are aware, it's not even very accurate. So it's about educating the public as well. And so what I love about being proactive and marketing your department is that you own your story. You're on the forefront for it. And so by sharing all the great things that you're doing in your program, it's going to give you the capability to, combat any of those negative perceptions that might be out there. And it's also, you're doing great things, farm to school, mobile serving, breakfast in the classroom, and some people might not be aware of those programs, so it's just, obviously, it's getting your story out there. So let's get started. This is the meat of it, okay? And again, this webinar, or this PowerPoint rather, is in the handout section on your go to webinar box. So let's get social. The first thing we're going to look at is linking Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So to do the next 3 slides that I'm going to show you, you need to have an Instagram page for your department. I'm doing all of this under the impression that you're going to create social media accounts for your department specifically, okay? And now if you can tack on to the district Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, great, but we're going to assume that you're going to create an account for your department specifically, okay? So you're going to need an Instagram account for your department, a Facebook page, and a Twitter account for your department. And then this one on the right is a personal Facebook page. So this will all kind of connect as we go through the next few slides. And if honestly, let's see, I have a quick question, sorry. If you have any questions about this after the webinar, please absolutely let me know. So once you see these next 3 slides, it'll make sense. So what this is going to allow by linking Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, it's going to allow you to go to Instagram, put a picture up, and it will automatically post to Facebook and Twitter. It's just a time-saving tool so that you don't have to go to 3 separate social media accounts and post the same thing 3 separate times. Okay, let's get started. And what you're going to see is literally 3 slides. So the first step is to link our Instagram account to our Facebook page, that page that you created for your department. This first screenshot you see on the left is my Horizon Instagram account that I created. So you see at the top left is Horizon K-12. I point this out to you because if you're on Instagram on your phone, you can click this little arrow here next to your name, and you can toggle between your personal Instagram and your business Instagram. That's actually somewhat new to Instagram. You used to have to log out and log back in, and what a pain. You would never do it. But now you can post on yourself and then toggle over to your page and post there. Then you're going to click this little settings button, and this is all from your phone. Then you have a switch to business profile option. And when you click switch to business profile, it's going to connect to your Facebook page. Now you're logged into Facebook on your phone, so this is all automatically happening. It's going to pick up all the pages, and there is my Horizon software page that I'm an admin on. Then I click done. That's it. So as long as you have a Facebook page on your phone and Instagram on your phone, you can connect those. Okay. Now I've connected it to Facebook. Now let's connect it to Twitter. Okay. Now back to the first screen where we were. Click our little settings button. Linked accounts is an option. And here's Twitter. You'll see Facebook was already linked up. We did that in the previous slide, and now here's Twitter. So I click on Twitter, log into my Twitter account for my department, and bam, they're all connected. Now why that is so awesome is this next slide. This is going through posting on all 3 platforms through Instagram. So this first slide, I'm just on Instagram like I normally am, and right here at the bottom is how I add a photo. I picked a photo from my phone. It accesses your photo album and you pick your photo, and then I put a caption in, whatever I want to say about that photo, and now I have these awesome little toggle buttons where I can say put that to Facebook and put that on Twitter. So those first 2 slides were really set up, and now this slide is what you're going to do all the time if you want to use all 3 platforms. So the next, let's see, there any questions? So this was the 3 pieces of the meat of the webinar. We are done with the first part of it. Are there any questions? Don't see any, and I hope everybody can see me okay. All right, if you have any questions about setting up these accounts, I'll give you my information. Call me, email me anytime. I would absolutely love to help you out. It's a pleasure. So the next thing we're going to look at is scheduling posts to publish at a later date. This is really helpful when, let's say you have maybe a menu item is coming back, but it's going to be available in a month. You don't want to post about it now. In a month, everyone will forget about it. So you could schedule it to be a day or 2 before. Or or School Lunch Hero Day is May the 4th. You could schedule something to talk about that just before. So scheduling is I think, very useful. And if you are the type of person, like me, got a lot going on, I could set aside 10 minutes a day and just schedule posts for later, because that's what works with my schedule. Sometimes at 11 at night, I'm like, I wish I could post this on Facebook, but nobody will see it at 11 at night. Well, I can schedule it, and it can post at a time when people are on Facebook. Oh, so sorry. So the first piece we're going to look at, you can schedule posts on Facebook. The functionality is right there in the system. You don't have to do many other steps for that. But for Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn, they don't have that functionality to schedule a post in the future. So what I'm going to show you is a tool called Hootsuite. And it is $20 a month if you pay an annual contract. But you'll see it, and then you decide, is it worth $20 a month? It might be worth it, but I want you to be aware that it's out there and that it's available to you. It's pretty low cost considering how powerful it is. So, scheduling posts on Facebook. Now, I am tired of PowerPoint already. Let's go live into Facebook, because you're going to get this PowerPoint at another time anyway. So, let's look at Facebook. Rather go live. So let's look at Horizon recently launched a podcast, Gab and Go podcast, that I actually host, and I interview child nutrition directors to share, their what's going on in their cafeterias, what's working, and just share with everyone. So I actually have an episode coming up soon with Tamara Earle from Mason City, Ohio. So let's say I've created my page for Gab and Go podcast. This is my page I created. This is my admin view. Oh, thanks, Janelle. I see your note. I'm actually, Janelle has a great share for everyone. There's an app called Later that's free that you can use. So Hootsuite is the paid program that you can use, and Later, she said, does the same thing, and it's free. So definitely check that out. Okay, so this is my Facebook page for Gab and Go. And what I'm going to do is say coming soon. Tamara talked about, nutrition education ideas, like creative nutrition education with Tamara Earle. Now, I might add a photo to this. I'll probably make this a little prettier, but the point here is, and let me zoom in so you can see it. the point is when you, rather than just click publish, which you might be automatically clicking publish and not even, paying attention to this little arrow here. So if you click on this arrow, you can schedule. So I can schedule this post with Tamara for Monday at 11:30 a.m. I just click my little calendar here, pick my day. I think you can schedule up to like 3 months in advance. It looks like you can even go further in advance. And my date, and click schedule, and that's it. So let's click schedule and see what that looks like. So once I've scheduled a post, now I have this little box here popped up, one scheduled post. So I can look at it, I can edit it, I can change the time that it's going to publish. So here's my scheduled posts. I can see what it looks like on a computer versus a phone. That might be useful, see what it's going to look like on a mobile device. But I can edit from here what I'm actually saying, or I can, or I can reschedule or remove the schedule completely. So what this might, I think this could be useful if you have a team of people that are contributing and posting on your Facebook page. Maybe you have an intern or someone else that's like, hey, I'll schedule some posts and you can come in later and just approve them, make sure they look good. This could be used in multiple ways, but I just want you to be aware that it's available right there in Facebook. So the next piece I'll show you is Hootsuite, and maybe Janelle, if we have time at the end, you can chime in and tell us what's different about Later, the app Later, because I'm very interested to hear about it. So let's clear that. Okay, so there's a lot of functionality within Hootsuite, but I'm only going to show you scheduling posts and posting to multiple accounts at once because there's a lot here, but let's skim the surface. So right up here at the top are all of my social media accounts that I have linked into Hootsuite. So I've got, you can look at the little icons here. There's Twitter, is the little bird. The flag is a Facebook page. In is LinkedIn. And the little camera is Instagram. So I can, let's say I'm going to say coming soon, creative, nutrition, education. Wow, there's my message. So this is where I'm composing my message. I can add a link. So let's say I want to point them to the podcast channel. Well, when I put that link there and I click shrink, it made it smaller. That's very useful when you have platforms like Twitter that have a character limit. They only let you have so much space. Shrinking a long URL is very useful. So I could compose this. I can attach media, so I can attach photos. Let's attach a photo so you can see what that looks like. Put Vanessa up here. Vanessa Hayes, our Southeast Regional Director, SNA. Scheduling. So here's where, just like in Facebook, I can select my day, my time. All right, and then we zoom out a little bit. Whoops. Okay. There we go. So I've got my message, a link is right there. I can put hashtags in here, that will work, and I can put a picture and I click schedule. And it will work just like it did in Facebook. But what I'll point out to you is, let's say we want this message to go on Gab and Go Podcast Twitter account. When I selected that's where I wanted to send this message, check out right here is the little the Twitter bird and 210. So that is a character limit. So as I keep typing, it's telling me how much space I have. So if I go over, it's not going to let me send that message. So that's what this is for. And the second piece of this is I can send that same message to, if I wanted, I could send it to every single account all at once. Oh, I'm sorry, do only one Twitter account at once. So now that okay, all right, there we go. So now that I've selected, I want this to go to Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. It's let me choose which Facebook album it should go in. And then here are my character limits for all of those different platforms. So just to show you, let's schedule this way out in advance, because I'm going to edit it later. Got my message, link, photo, and I'm going to schedule. All of those scheduled posts are now going to start populating here. So I have these columns. Now these columns, I chose which columns should be there. So you can change them from here as well. Click the more actions and we can start editing or deleting them, just like in Facebook. So we do have a good question. Can you do the podcast within an established Facebook page, or do you have to create the podcast page separately? The idea being, if you already have a bunch of followers on one page, you'd already have to have access to them and not have to recreate the wheel and get people to follow the podcast page. Great question, Janelle. So honestly, this is coming from a vendor, okay? Speaking to you as a vendor. I created Gab and Go podcast because it really is available to all child nutrition, and it's not just for Horizon customers. So that was more of a strategy decision because I wanted everyone to, you know, and I can do cross promotions. So from a marketing perspective, the Horizon page is going to share Gab and Go's stuff, and every now and then when it's appropriate, Gab and Go can share Horizons, but it really is a broader audience, and that's why I did that. It kind of is going to hopefully stand on its own and have its own audience, is my hope. Okay, so we're doing good on time. It's 11:27. These are the first two pieces I wanted to share. So if there are any other questions, what I'll do is I'll jump into Canva. This is a very powerful tool, and I'm really just going to kind of skim the surface and show you what it can do, because I could really go on and on about it, but it's about making sure you're aware of what's here and show you some of the functionality. Okay, I've got my question box here available. If anybody has any questions, let me know. So Canva is free. There is a pro account that you can get that will give you more font choices and some more stock photography. But I'll be honest, I've used Canva for about 5 years, and I've paid $1 for a stock photo that I wanted, and that was it. So don't feel like you won't have to break the bank on this. I think it has enough functionality for you to use for without having to spend any money. So when you log into Canva, these are graphics that I created in the program. Some of this I did have help with my graphic design team, like they created the Gab and Go podcast logo, but then I could insert it into my designs on Canva, which was nice. And I just want to point out, whether you have a graphic designer on staff or not, I think this tool is going to be so helpful for you, because like I often find my graphic design team gets bogged down. They've got a lot going on. You can quickly make graphics here and not have to wait on anyone else. So when you create a design, you'll see there are a lot of different templates available to you. There's logos, Facebook covers, email headers, and you see as I hover over these, they'll even has the different pixels or the different size dimensions that you need for each kind of different platform that you're on. And what I love about that is social media, they're constantly changing things on us. So it's really nice to come here and create a Facebook cover photo, and it's the right size that Facebook needs. Because in 6 months, Facebook could change the size, but at least Canva is updating that for us. So I want to start by showing you that, let's create a social graphic, okay? This is something that we'll post on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. It's just going to make your social media really pop. Because if you think about it, when you're scrolling through Facebook, you know, a post with just text isn't always going to be catching your eye very much. You can add some graphics to it. It's going to help. So there are all of these templates in the program, and you see, if you can see right here on the corner, I'll zoom in a little, well, right here it will say free. Let's see, we'll go down a little bit. If they were not free, these are all free. You might have, it would say has a little crown on it, and that means it's available with a premium account, or maybe it's $1. A lot of these things, if you pay, it's just $1. So School Lunch Hero Day is coming up. So I think it would be really cute. Look at this superhero template. To use this for my department to promote. So what's great is these templates you can edit and change. So you see that I clicked on this is like the little burst. There's all the colors are right here, the color swatch. I can change the colors. I can make it green, blue. What I like about that is you can change it to fit the colors of your district, of a specific school, for a holiday. So I could change the color. I actually liked the red that they had. So you'll see a little plus sign here. If you click the plus sign, you've got a color wheel that you can just go to town with. You can click there and then adjust through here as well. Okay. So I could change that. There's little rotate options. You can rotate these. Now, this is actually a pretty good setup as is. So let's say not all superheroes wear capes. I want this post for School Lunch Hero Day, though. So if I click in here, I can say, Happy School Lunch Hero Day. And it is... Oops, I accidentally moved it over, but that's okay. See how if I move this around, that little line appeared right down the center? That's telling me it's centered. So I could change that to May 4th, 2018. I mean, as is, I could take this and post it and put it on Facebook and schedule it to post on May 4th if I wanted. Let's say I wanted to personalize this for my district, though, and do some branding. There's an upload section right here where you can upload your own images to use in your designs. So I have Meriden Public Schools. I have their logo from a project I was working on. All I do is click on it, and it automatically populates here. I can resize it. Put it right there. And now it's got my brand on it. To upload something to my uploads, I literally click and drag. It's that simple. And it automatically populates. So what I want to show you is that there are templates you can slightly doctor and make it work for you. I want to also point out you can change the font. There are quite a few fonts in here already. Like I said, I've never needed the Pro account because I've always found what I need here. What I like to do, and I'm not a graphic designer, but what I think, what looks, the word is escaping me, but what I think looks good is if you have a font that's a little, has a lot of loops and it's a little maybe italicized, or I think that if you take a font like that and contrast it with a very standard font that's pretty, that's basic, those complement each other. If I was to take this and do my favorite font, which is Lobster, they kind of fight each other. So if I made it lobster, just kind of fight each other a little bit. So try to just stick with 2 fonts when you do a project. And that did come from one of my friends that's a graphic designer. She sees things that have 5 different fonts in them and it drives her crazy. So just try to stick to 2. I changed that font, but I want to change it back, so there's an undo button. And what I love about Canva is it only gives you the editing tools, like up here where all of my editing tools are, it only gives you what you can do. Like whatever I can do with my, because I've clicked on the font, whatever I can do with that is up here. It's not going to give me tons of editing tools that I have to sift through and understand. I really appreciate that because I'm not a graphic designer. I'll show you. Let's look at creating create a quick logo from scratch. Then I will wrap up the webinar. I'll go back to that PowerPoint and just kind of point out a couple more things, and then for anyone that can stay on for the full hour, I'll go back into Canva and show you more functionality. But I just don't want to go over our hour together. So let me look at creating a logo completely from scratch. And as I do that, I'll be demoing all the different pieces here. So we will get to those. So let's go back to Canva. Oh, and look, my graphic is saving right here for me. Didn't even have to do anything. So one thing I really like about Canva is if you don't have a graphic designer, you can create a logo that is custom to your school nutrition department right here in Canva. I'm going to create a very basic one, but you're going to see that I can do it in a few minutes, which is pretty great considering we're all very busy. So when I wanted to do this, I talked to a district and I said, I wanted an actual district. If you have a logo, what message are you trying to convey? It's your brand. What do you want to stand for? And they said that fresh fruits and vegetables were a very, very big deal to them. And they had a tagline, which was, I think it was like, healthy, and I'm sorry it escapes me, but I think it was healthy minds, building healthy minds or something like that. So I want to use that. So you'll see, to get started, I clicked on a logo and it gave me a blank canvas right here. In Elements, there's a lot here that we can play with, but frames you're going to use a fair bit, I would think. So if you see, there are these hills and the sky. Anytime you see the mountains and the sky, that's where you can put a photo that you've uploaded. So in this image, there's 2. That's a collage. You can do 2 photos there. And look at all the different frame options we have here. I mean, you could literally, this is like blinds. You could put... Not that we would do it, but you could even do something crazy, right? There's a lot of options here. So I click on it to delete it. I don't want that. So what I like, especially with logos, I like a round logo, specifically because Instagram is making your logo round anyway, and sometimes a square logo that takes up every inch of that square doesn't look great in Instagram, so I kind of just say fine, I'll create a round logo. Because fruits and veggies, and look how I'm centering it, fruits and veggies were important to them. I had a photo of fruits and veggies, and if I click and drag it over, it just automatically populates. And this particular frame that I chose had a solid color band across it, which I thought would be great to put the district name and the tagline. So I don't really care for that green. Their district actually, their colors were purple and a light gray. So let's get that purple. And I'll show you one thing before we wrap up. Do a dark purple and then a light gray. So I changed that and I'm ready to add some text. There's all kinds of, just like we had fonts, or I'm sorry, just like we had templates for that superhero thing, you're going to have templates for fonts, which is really neat. But let's just add, it wasn't Washington County Schools, but the name is escaping me. So you can't really see black on purple, right? So I took that, made it that light gray that really pops on the purple. And I want the department name to stand out, not so much the district name, because they're, let's see, so I did a basic Washington County Schools and a larger food services, or food and nutrition services. This was what I really wanted to pop. So all I did was the same gray. And like I said, I could pick two fonts that could complement each other, that look a little better. I liked Grand Hotel. Make it larger. Actually, let's make it a little smaller so it would fit on one line. Okay. So, granted, you see that let's see, that Washington County Schools is still a little too thick for my taste, so I'm going to unbold it. So, really with just a photo that I had, a frame and font, and knowing what colors I wanted, just created this. Now, maybe eventually down the road you would like your till you're you have a graphic designer that might create something else, but in the meantime, like, you see how quickly I made that and how you could easily create other things, and all the functionality that's in Canva, you could do more with it. So I hope this gives you a little bit of insight. I'll walk through a couple of pieces about Canva, and then we'll wrap up, and then we can go back to Canva if we have time. There are free photos that you can use, free stock photography. There are grids, just similar to the frames, with you could do photo collages. So if you had, National School Lunch Week and National School Lunch Week, and you wanted to make some photos of that. And then your shapes, there's all different kinds of shapes, and if you insert a shape, again, you can change those colors just like we did before. And I actually have another phenomenal question that I've got to share. I know you said that that it could wait until after, but it's too good to share with the group. There are illustrations, and a lot of these illustrations you can change the colors on too for some of them, and icons. So I hope you see that there's a lot that you can play with here, but that phenomenal question that just came through, I have to address. So let's say, I'll do this example. The Washington County Schools, she won a consultation with me after the last time I hosted this webinar. And she wanted a logo, but she wanted it to match the exact colors of the new website, which is 100% I'm so on board with. You want the colors to match perfectly. So, I'll show you. Literally Google what colors are in my logo. What colors are in my logo? And there's plenty of tools that can do this, but this is my favorite. It's GINIFAB. The last time I hosted this webinar, the photo I uploaded didn't work. Let's hope this one works. You choose file. So I chose a file from my computer, and I click upload image. Okay. So this is Weld County Schools in Colorado. This is their logo. Check out as I hover over the colors. What you want to look at is this hex. Let me zoom in just a little bit. What you were looking for is this hex number. It's the HTML code for all intents and purposes. So as I hover over the green, that's the code I would want. If I hover over this green, that's a separate code. So click on it. There's my hex code. So just always look for the hashtag. It's easy to remember. And if you have and yes, you can do this with a photo. You can do this. You can also, let's say you have you didn't have the logo. She didn't have a nice logo saved. Like I pulled that logo that was just sent to me, right? Here's a really nice shortcut. If you're all familiar with snipping tools on all Windows computers to my knowledge, and if you don't learn anything from this webinar, it's that snipping tool. If you learn that, then it's definitely worth it. So you can snip, you can do a new snip, and it just captures it. Well, then you can save, you do file and save as, you can save that as an image and just upload that image. So you just made an image from your district website. So if you don't know what your colors are now, get the snipping tool, save it as an image, upload it here, and then click on any color, and bam, you've got your color. So how that translates to Canva, so let's go back to this. I want to use the exact color that was in that Greeley Evans Weld in this one right here. I want to use this exact color. I'll just copy it, paste that code right here. This is my color code. Oh, look at that. It's going to perfectly match the colors for my district. You can do that for schools, what have you. I hope that then this is something that is just it's a super shortcut. I really enjoy it. You can use it for anything now that you've got snipping tool. And I'll actually put the link to this in the chat box so you can snag that. Putting the link to GineFab. Just remember, choose file and upload, and then there are your images. This is also useful maybe if you order shirts or any kind of promotional item you get. You could tell them, hey, this is my district's colors. Try to get it as close to that as possible. Things like that. Okay, so it is now 11:50. I'm sorry, I accidentally sent that link to, I did send the link to GineFab to everyone in the chat box. Are there any questions before I kind of wrap us up and head back over to the PowerPoint? Don't know that we'll have time to go through another Canva tool, but I can definitely still head over there. What I really wanted to wrap up with today was really hoping that you'll all, let's see if I can swap this without messing everything up. I hope that you found these tools that I showed you helpful. But as far as if we step back and we're just looking at this from a marketing perspective, what my advice to you would be is to be diligent, be consistent in posting, post frequently. If you need help posting, if you can enlist a trusted member of your team to help you post, or at least send you pictures. Ask those out in the field to send you pictures so that you can have that content to share. Don't be surprised if it takes a little bit of time for you to build your audience. Don't be afraid to be creative. What I've found is the photos that are what I call out of the lunchbox and are unique, and those are the ones that get the most likes and comments. And I will say what really helps make a marketing message stick is a story. If you could talk to people all day, but if you tell a story, it's just a psychological thing. We remember the message. So if you could do things like meet our team. Here's our cafeteria manager Tanya. She's been with us for 12 years. Her favorite thing, if you can tell stories, that message really resonates with an audience. I 100% mean this from the bottom of my heart. please continue to share with me. Please reach out to me if you have any questions at all. I would love to help you. This is my email. We're on, Horizons on social media. You can follow us there. I have the podcast. If you'd like to share anything, whether it's social media or any other topic you might want to share on the podcast, I would love to have you as a guest. It's just a quick phone call, and then I take care of the rest. The next step is I'll email everyone. If you could email me, or if you've got my email there, if you could email me your address, we will be mailing out those CEU certificates. Everyone is entered to win that cookbook from that I picked up at Capitol Hill at LAC. It's a gorgeous congressional cookbook. Everyone's entered to win that, so I'll email when the winner is selected. And I will select a couple of winners to get a one-on-one consultation with me to discuss any kind of marketing you might have. I have one of the winners from the last webinar. I'm meeting with her this afternoon. She just wants an in-depth look at Facebook. You pick the topic. But I am so appreciative of the time that you spent with me today. I know that we're all very, very busy. We have a few minutes left over, so what I'll do is I'll jump back into Canva. Oh, and I would like your physical address for the CEU certificate. And I'll email everyone as well. But I'll jump back into Canva and just show you some additional features for the program. But if anyone has any questions, put them in the chat box at any time. You can *6 to unmute yourself, but you can consider the webinar complete at this point. But if you want to keep learning, I can keep showing you. I'll show you how about, let's say you're launching Facebook page. You're going to need a cover page for your Facebook account. So let's create one of those. Okay. Again, there's a lot of templates here. So actually, if you'll indulge me, let me show you one I created with a customer in her consultation. It was a lot of fun. So, and it was, I used snipping tool and I used her district. It was, it's Washington County Schools. Let me see if I can undo what I did. Feeding our students for a brighter future. I'm going to copy that because that was her. So you see that this is a Facebook cover photo for her. And this is that district website she wanted to emulate. So what I did, again, it's a lot of shortcuts, but she's not a graphic designer. I have graphic design knowledge, but what we did was use the snipping tool. Actually, I used all of that. Let's see how I did. Use the snipping tool, and I saved the image, file, save as, and I just put it on my desktop so I could pull from it later. Okay. And this was what I ended up. I'm going to delete everything so I can take you back to where we started. This was what I ended up snipping, and I uploaded it, okay? But you see that I run out of space. Like, it goes all the way here, but I also need to cover that, and I have a lot of space up here. So what I did was I found out what color this light blue is, the sky. And if you'll, what I did was went to my elements, and there's shapes. If you have some time or you have someone on your staff that's interested in this, this is the kind of tool that the more you use, the more you'll learn. I put in a shape, and I selected that light blue color. That was the light blue. And then I clicked and dragged, and now you don't even see the seam. I took a square, I resized it, and I made it that color. And you wouldn't even know it. So then I needed to cover this. So I put another image. Let's see. This one is a square with rounded corners. And I like the rounded corners a little better than, and so did she. We worked on this together. I resized it, and I need it to be that orange. So I found out what color that orange was. Let's make it a little bigger. There we go. And there's my orange. And then this was what I did next. I put Washington County Schools. And now one thing I will say is it's nice to try to find a font that's complementary to your district. Now, in an ideal world, it'd be nice to use the exact same font that your district uses. If you want to mimic, if you really want to truly mimic their brand, it'd be nice to do that. But Canva's free, they might not have that exact, so find a very similar font if you can. But just for our training purposes, or our, we'll start there, Washington County Schools, and then I needed the tagline she wanted. Now remember, this is her Facebook page. Oh, it was feeding. Sorry, I'm forgetting the feeding, but I made it a complimentary font that she liked, because that was up to her. That was her district, her department rather. I might have talked her into my favorite color, or my favorite font. So we had the black, or this was actually a nutrition department. I know that's not the exact name of her department, but I needed it to be much smaller and stand out a little bit. So you see how I'm just moving this around? There was the tagline, and then right here we were going to put her name and or we could put her name, we could put her email, her phone number, we could put, I'll show you one more really cool tool and then I'll let you go. She wanted to maybe put the online payment system. She uses My Payments Plus. So frames, remember I showed you there are so many different kinds of frames. If you look up computer in frames, there is a computer monitor that, because it has the hills and the sky, means I can put an image there. I literally put over the My Payments Plus logo, and you see how it's off center? If you click crop, you can slide it over, click OK. She could even have a little prompt for make sure parents go to My Payments Plus to put money on the kids' accounts. We can move these things around, but hope you saw a couple other tools there that you could use. It's now 12 o'clock Eastern time. I've taken up an hour of your time. I'm so appreciative, so thankful. I will email everyone. Please reach out if you have any questions at all, and I appreciate you all, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.